The director of Voice4Change, a non-governmental organisation based in England. Thanks so much for joining us on the programme.
Good afternoon.
First of all, your reaction to the fact that companies, as I've just mentioned, are speaking out and considering changing their branding, for example, such as Uncle Ben's and Quaker Oats.
Well, I think a lot of these symbols are residual elements from the past. And I certainly think that it's interesting that now, after the tragic death of this man in the United States, that we get all this activity, particularly in relation to, as I say, the symbols of racism. And I wonder if some of this is really little more than gestures. I mean, to actually look at policing in America, how does changing the name of a product actually inform the debate around policing in America, or indeed dealing with the myriad of social problems that impoverished communities actually face? So I think Uncle Ben, for example, you take that and look at it. Uncle Ben is actually based on a real character, a real Texan farmer. And the actual image used is based on a well-loved chef and waiter. So for me, it's merely gesture. I mean, I think the Art Jemima profile that you referred to is also maybe a relic of the past, and it's time for a change. I think that's fair enough. But I think that we have to be careful that we're not just getting into a whole stream of gesture politics rather than real change.
And Kunle, how do you go beyond, as you've just said, a gesture and gesture politics?
I think you have to look at the real concerns of discrimination in America, and even in this country, in the UK, where I'm speaking from, and internationally. So the questions of unemployment, the questions of education, the questions of training and development, I think those are some of the things that a charity like my own are trying to address. I can appreciate the anger and the groundswell of opposition and protest, but I think that protest needs shaping. It needs, in a sense, leadership and focus. At the moment, it just seems that commercial producers are reacting out of a little bit of guilt, and also maybe they haven't been doing as much on these issues in the past as what's being called for now. But I think we have to go beyond simple advertising and marketing and look at the real material questions around race.
And we've spoken a lot about the US. You're in the UK. I grew up in the UK, and I remember also Robertson's jam, and that got changed quite recently, in recent memory. So it's not just a reaction to George Floyd's killing, is it? There is a recent memory, a recent history, isn't there?
But the symbols of racism, you know, we have to also be very careful in terms of just looking at symbols. There are, for example, there's been discussion about removing the Tate name from buildings in relation to libraries and the Tate Modern, Tate Britain. But of course, the Tate family, Henry Tate, was not involved in the slave industry. The Tates didn't start their involvement in the sugar industry, and it's sugar beet, not sugar cane, until the 1850s. And yet people have made mistakes like that. And so that's what I'm saying. We need to go beyond symbols. But even if we're looking at these images, we need to know what they truly represent and put them in historical context. I think even that has been simplified, and in a sense, it reflects a kind of hysteria at the moment of our time. I think people want to do things, and I think people are sincere in wanting to do things, but not everything is going to lead to change. And certainly some of these symbols are quite superficial.
You make so many excellent points. Thank you so much for your analysis. Kunle Olulode, thank you.